Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome to episode 19 of Self Literacy Podcast. So, I got to sit down with Babel and we spoke everything marriage and relationships. I hope you enjoy this episode. Before I let you go, just by the way, please remember to like, to share, to subscribe. Tell your world about it. Enjoy the episode. Cheers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Self Literacy Podcast. I don't know if it's episode 18 or 19. You say you didn't check.
No, I didn't.
So you don't know.
Didn't get a chance to.
I think it's episode 19.
19, all right.
I think so. I may be wrong. But I think it's episode 19. And I'm really happy, just by the way, to be hanging out with you for the next, 50, 60 minutes?
Yeah.
I'm not alone. I have a guest today. And just by the way, I know you normally see me seated on that side, but I was told to change. So I'm going to be on this side now going forward. If that bothers you, please send me an email. But we'll talk about that. My guest today, dude, how do I introduce you? Look, I know he loves God. He recently got married.
I did.
Which I'm really excited about because I feel like to be married and to be young and married, rather, we don't really talk about that enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is this now? We don't talk about that a lot or enough, rather. And I think a lot of people would or are going to benefit from this conversation. I actually listened to a podcast during the week. And the guy, I think he's a psychologist. And he gives marital advice.
Yeah.
And I sat there listening to the entire episode, 40 minutes or so, I think. And so I took a couple of nuggets there and I thought, I want to talk to you about that. I think before we get into it, though, maybe tell people a bit about you. And then, we'll get into it.
All right. My name is Bebel Ilunga. I'm originally from the Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. I came in South Africa in 2003. So I've been here for 21 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you came here like yesterday.
Yes, no.
You've been around.
I've been around for a very long time. Basically grew up here in South Africa and obviously did my high school here. Had a very, very high interest in playing basketball.
Yeah.
Played basketball in high school. Actually had dreams of going pro, but that was definitely not in God's plans for me. So, but I'm still a very big fan of basketball.
Yeah.
And from a spiritual perspective, also love serving. I'm currently playing keys. Currently playing keys at church, CRC precisely, where I serve, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting. Dude, do you remember how we met, you and I? It's actually a blur in my mind.
I do.
How did we meet?
I do. I remember. So it was a PM service.
Okay.
It was a PM service, and I was about to drive home.
Yeah.
And then Andrew says to me, like, I've got a friend from the media. Do you mind, like, going with him home?
Okay.
And then so I was like, no, of course. So we were driving, and we were talking. I don't remember what we were talking about in the car.
Right.
And as we were driving, all Andrew told me is that we lived on the same street.
Yeah.
But as we were driving, we found out that we lived in the same
same complex.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I remember there's a time when my car was not working and giving issues.
Yeah.
I think it was during that time.
Yeah, during that
And
time.
we started riding together to and from church.
Yes.
What is that? 2021, 2022?
2022.
Interesting.
2022.
Yeah. And now you're married.
Married. Usually when people say you're married, I'm like, very married.
What does that mean? What does very married mean?
I'm just being extra. It just means I'm married.
Is that what your woman told you to tell people?
No, not at all.
Because women are bullies, eh?
No, they are. But I don't think she even knows that I tell people I'm very married.
I like that. I'm very, very married.
Very
How are you
married.
finding it?
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. Obviously, it is a place where you have to have maturity.
100%.
Yeah, you have to have maturity. And then as a man, you get to realize that I'm responsible for somebody else other than me. And you have to take care of the person and you have to be there for her.
Responsible.
Responsible,
I
yeah.
like that word because when I was doing my research for this episode, particularly rather, I looked at, I think about 6 healthy husband habits,
Okay.
and responsibility was actually part of that
Part of
6.
them.
So it's very interesting. But yeah, as you were,
Yeah, so yeah, no, so you figure out like I have to be responsible for her. I have to take care of her. I have to basically you also play a little bit of a role of a dad in a way. Maybe some of the things that dad would have done for her, you would do for her.
Like
Like
what?
so for like a practical example, right? So when my wife has to do stuff with a car, when she has to replace certain stuff in a car,
I see.
in the past her dad used to do it for her.
Yeah,
But now
you
I
have to do it.
Yes.
I get you. I think before we get into that, let's just backtrack
Yeah.
a bit. You and your girl, how did you guys meet?
Oh, okay. Very interesting story. So the first time I think I saw her, I remember I was standing on the keyboard playing keys. And then I saw her walk inside the church. So now, as she's walking, I'm literally playing, but I'm staring at her like, with my eyes following her. And I was like, oh, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I remember calling a friend of mine and I told him, I was like, bro, I just saw a lady at church. She's fine. I was like, she's fine. I think I want to, I want to ask her out. And at the time, obviously, I didn't know her name,
Yeah.
but I went in the music group on WhatsApp. So I was just literally checking every profile. And then I saw a picture, like of a profile picture. I showed it to a friend of mine. I was like, this is her. He was like, oh, no, she's beautiful. But then, unfortunately, what had happened was that was the first time and kind of the last time I saw her for that period because she hadn't been coming to church anymore.
Shoo.
Yeah, probably, I might be exaggerating, but maybe for like a year.
What happened to her?
So I think work
Okay.
and just life.
Life.
Yeah, just life. Yeah, work, life. And then after a year, I remember seeing her. And when I saw her, I was like, oh, she's back.
Is it easy to forget about a person when they've been gone for that long?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was marked by her, so I didn't forget. And here's the funny part: the first time I saw her, she wasn't wearing a COVID mask. The second time I saw her, she was wearing a COVID mask, but I knew it was her.
Oh, flip.
Yeah,
Damn, man.
I knew it was. I'm like, oh, that's her.
Okay, so a year passes by, she comes back. What's going on in your head?
So when she comes back, I'm just like, okay, I have to introduce myself to her.
And during that time, you haven't said hi to any other girl or anything like that?
Nah.
Okay, interesting.
So I'm like, I have to introduce myself to her. And I got a chance to stand next to her one day. You know how at church at the beginning of the year, we recruit people in different departments.
100%.
Yeah, so I remember standing next to her one day and I'm shivering like like I'm struggling to even just say hi. I think I said hi, but it was so like
It was
the hi was so
strange, yeah.
shy
Yeah.
that she did not hear.
Yeah.
She did not hear, she just walked away. And then there was a day when I had the courage. I walked to her, I introduced myself to her, and I think I was saying something like, oh, I always see you around, and I didn't want us to be strangers,
Small
so I wanted
talk.
to say hi.
Yeah.
And then she was very polite. She said hi, and then she forgot about it. So in my head, I was thinking like, you know what? Um, maybe now that I've established some sort of like a connection, maybe her and I can just start like speaking slowly. But she had forgotten.
Flip.
Yeah, she had forgotten, and at some stage I was just like, so how do I pursue her? And one good Sunday, I just decided, hey man, I don't have anything to lose. So I approached her after a PM service. I literally called her. I remember she was working like far in front of me. So I was like, Bussy. And she looked back. She was very surprised because we have never really had a
Yeah.
conversation. She was probably thinking, how does he even know my name?
Got you.
So that I get to her and I'm like, hey, I actually just wanted to tell you that I think you are very beautiful. And I said, oh no, I said, I'm not trying to highlight you. I'm not trying to highlight you. I just wanted to let you know that I think you're really beautiful.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, really? Thank you. And I was like, okay, that's all. And then I went home, she went home. But that entire week, I was, I couldn't like stop
Thinking about
thinking
it.
about it. I was like, I spoke to her. She actually responded to me. And then I remember seeing her Thursday at band practice and she waved at me, hi. I was like, oh, she waved. So then the Sunday that followed, I went and asked her for a phone number. And then she was like why? I was like, because I want to take you out for coffee. And then she was like, okay, get my phone number from the
Group.
group. I said, nah, I want this phone number from you. And then she says to me, okay, cool, wait for me in the foyer. When I get there, I'll give you my phone number. And then I waited. She came, she gave me a phone number, and then it went from there. We just started
Yeah.
talking, chatting. And I think one of the biggest shift, I think her and I had like a 3-hour conversation over the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, I think, for me, really built a connection. And yeah.
So you went to her, you said, I'm not trying to holler at you. I just wanted to tell you that you're beautiful.
Yeah.
And throughout the week, you're thinking about her.
Yeah. Throughout the week.
What, when you were thinking about her, did you ever picture you and her being where you are right now?
No, to be honest, because at that stage I was even like, will she say yes to me? That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
She has to say yes. Because obviously my intentions when I was asking her out from the get-go is if she says yes to me, we're building toward marriage.
100%.
Yeah, because I didn't want to get into
A
something
vibe.
to just play games.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So
So that's what you wanted from the onset.
from the beginning.
Yeah. And were you guys on the same page?
We were.
Okay.
We were, because for her to even go out on the first date with me, it was one of her questions like, what do you want to do with me?
Yeah.
Like, what are your intentions? And because I didn't know her very well at the time, because, I mean, we're not going to lie to each other. A lot of people get turned off by hearing marriage, whether it's guys, whether it's ladies. So I didn't want to say the term marriage because I was scared
Yeah.
to.
You don't want to be too forthcoming. Yeah.
Yes. So I just told her that, hey, I'm here for the long run.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And the day you actually decided in your head,
Yeah.
because it always starts here or here, wherever, before the action.
Yeah.
The day you decided that I'm actually gonna marry this girl,
Yeah.
what was going on? What convicted you, and all of that?
I think the a character, because obviously I thought she was very beautiful,
Yeah.
and then you have to go now beyond the beauty, and it's the character, and she's a person that is very down to earth, not a complicated person, like a person who takes care of not only her but of people. And one of the first conversations we had, I told her that, by the way, I've got a nephew, but he's really like my son to me.
Yeah.
And I love him big time. And because in the past I used to say, look, when I get married,
Yeah.
it's almost like I come with this package, that's my nephew. It's a package deal because it's like it's like my son.
100%.
So it's like my son, and so obviously at the beginning I wanted to establish that. Then if she says that that doesn't work for me, then it's like okay, but she was like okay, I understand, and then she tells me like I've got nieces as well, and they're like my daughters, and then
Yeah.
we just so yeah, and then obviously when we started the relationship, just like the way she's down to earth, when I will go through certain struggles, the way she would just like pick me up, lift me up, I was like, what more would I be looking for now? Like
Yeah.
this is what you want,
Yeah. Because I remember one particular thing that you told me. I'm not going to talk about it on the podcast.
Yes.
When you told me that, and I think you mentioned that I was the only person you told. And I look, fast forward,
Yeah.
fast track to where we are right now. When did that happen? 2022, I think. Or was it? Yeah, it was 2022.
Yes.
2022. And even during that period, that season, she stuck with you.
Yeah.
She didn't leave.
No, she didn't.
What more do you want?
Literally.
Very interesting, man. I'm going to delve in a bit deeper. So I made a couple of statements that I want you to sort of like break apart for me, analyze, talk about, etc. I think the first question that I want to ask you is a boyfriend a mirror of a husband?
Is a boyfriend a mirror for a husband? It's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm going to try to answer from a spiritual perspective. It can be, like, I don't think there's an exact response to that, but it's, at the end of the day, for me, it's the intentions.
Okay.
Yeah, because if somebody just comes, and boyfriend is not about age.
Yeah.
I think it's more like a mentality that you have to graduate from. If you start boyfriend, gotta get to fiance at some stage and become a husband.
Got you.
But it all in the mindset and intentions. So if from the get-go when you're just a boyfriend, but your mindset is to build, I want to marry this person, I want to spend the rest of my life with, then in that case, it's definitely,
Yeah.
it's definitely a mirror.
Because I'm interested in finding out what's changed in terms of how you guys relationship right now.
Okay.
And I think that's where my question comes from. You were a boyfriend,
Yeah.
and now you're a husband. What's been different? Is there any difference, if any?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest difference is obviously we moved in together
Right.
after getting married.
So there was no fat and set.
No.
Did you hear that? No fat and set. Stop it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So that's the thing. Now, in terms of the relationship, it's just you realize now that things are real now. Like it's real. We in this journey for life.
You guys are one.
Yes. Like, so some differences. When at the beginning, if we can say when I was just like a boyfriend, it's like I can make certain decisions without consulting her.
Got you.
Can make certain decisions without consulting her. You might not have to know 24/7 where I am. But as a husband, these are things that you have to be ready for it.
Yeah.
And it's not controlling, that the person is controlling you, but that you become one. What does one mean?
Yeah.
So
You move together. It's
yes,
uniform.
yes.
Yeah.
So it is a unit. So I heard somebody, actually it was a preacher that said, you figure out that you're ready to get married when you are ready to be accountable, and you are ready to understand that I do not belong to me anymore.
Interesting.
When I don't have to have secrets anymore, like when I can easily tell my partner that I'm with the boys, I'm at such a place, such a. If you're still like, she doesn't need to know where I am, maybe there's still a bit of work.
Dude, can I tell you, you're such a healthy husband. No, for real. Like I said, I was listening to a podcast, like I said earlier on.
Yes.
And the guy was talking about healthy husband habits. And some of the things that you're touching on
Yes.
are actually things that are listed.
Okay.
So it's like it's so interesting to you, and the fact that I haven't even touched on
Touched on
them,
that.
and you mentioning them,
Yes.
it's very interesting. So the whole transparency thing,
Yes.
telling her that hey, I'm with the boys, etc.
Yes. Gotta be.
Very interesting. I wanted to ask you about while we're still talking about boyfriend husband, when you guys were still boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yes.
Was there a point where you guys decided that hey, we're not doing any sleepovers anymore? If there was that thing happening in your relationship,
So obviously, like I mentioned before, we were from the get go. She asked me what
your intentions
my
are
intentions are.
yeah,
So already from the get go, the moment you're getting inside a relationship, there's already that mindset.
100%.
Like, yes, if this is what we're trying to build and we want to succeed, this is what we have to do. This is how we have to.
I hear you.
So it's already there from the get go.
Okay, because my girl and I, we decided to wait for marriage, right? But even with waiting,
Yes.
we would have like sleepovers. And I remember this one day, I said to her, babe, I think we got to stop this. And especially when I, decided in my head that, okay, this is a girl that I want to marry. Well, I decided a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I think when intention sort of like kicked in,
Yes.
like when it really, really, really kicked in, you're like, okay, now you got to be intentional. Because sometimes we are intentional, but there's exceptions when you think about it, right? We make exceptions and etc. But I remember when I was like, I want to be intentional. And then I said to her, we need to stop doing sleepovers, though we were still pure and. Would you recommend that people actually get to that point if they want to move on to the next level in their relationship?
For sure. So there's an example that obviously I love talking with like examples.
Yeah.
When you speak to somebody, let's say you're speaking to a husband or a fiance and they're very faithful, and you ask them and you're trying to figure out how is this person faithful? How is he not cheating on the wife or the girlfriend is dating? It's not usually that people are superhuman. It's just in discipline.
Okay.
It's just in discipline, and by discipline it means do not put yourself in situations
That's going to
where you're gonna
compromise
be
you.
tempted. It's not like I don't think people wake up in the morning to be like, actually today.
No, you don't plan to be foolish.
Yes, people don't.
Yeah.
It's just that avoid to put yourself in a situation. I think that's the biggest.
And also take into account the fact that you are human.
Yes.
Yeah.
And listen, will temptation come? Oh, of course, we're not about to sit on this podcast and lie and
I like
say,
that.
yeah.
Right.
So it's because you know that that can be a weakness. I'm gonna avoid it. If you, for example, you're trying to stop to drink alcohol, don't go to the liquor store.
Don't be around people who drink.
Yes, just avoid it. So for me, I think that's the way I view it. So I will not, not recommend it.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm of the belief that the quality of a person's life is directly correlated to the quality of the questions they ask themselves. Before you decided to go down on one knee and, ask your girl to marry you, even now when you guys are married, what have been some of the questions, you've asked yourself? What are some of the questions you keep asking yourself? Yeah.
But some of the questions that I've asked myself. So ever since we've been married,
So before and
and after.
and after, yeah.
I think before it's like, are you ready to get married? Are you ready to? Because there are certain things that you have to let go of. You can't be moving the same way that you're moving before. So before I used to ask myself like, am I ready for it? I've made this commitment. Am I willing to walk the road of this commitment? What it means? do I know exactly what it means? Like the words that I've told her, the commitment,
Yeah.
do I really know what it means? And then this was before. And then now that we're married, it's like, I don't know if I have questions, but I just have prayers to say,
Oh yeah.
God, help me be a good husband, and help
That's
me
beautiful, bro.
treat her the right way. Help me be responsible.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, help me be responsible. So,
When we had coffee,
yeah.
I think I said to you, it's only recently, because I think a lot of the times when we read the Bible, a lot of the scriptures we look at and we see at face value. We don't really get deep into understanding them. And I think for me, it's only recently that I started to understand the scripture that says, he who finds a wife finds a good
A good
thing
thing. Yeah.
and obtains favor from the Lord. The Bible says that we must love our women as, well, our wives, that is, as Christ
Love the church.
loves the church. The Bible also says that the man is the provider, the protector, etc. And now that I started thinking about it, I'm like, God won't just tell me, number one, that I'm supposed to provide for my woman, my wife, protect my wife, and not give me resources for that.
Yes.
So when you actually look at the scripture that says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord, I think those are the resources that God then starts
Yes.
giving to you.
Definitely.
Yeah. Interesting, man. Interesting. I wanted to ask you something else. And now I lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. One of the greatest acts of love a husband can give his wife is that of being responsible. I know you briefly touched on responsibility
Responsibility, yes.
earlier on. I'd like to hear you expand on this statement that I just made. What do you think of that?
So by responsibility, we're looking at different factors. The actions that you pose, the way I live, I have to be responsible. Because you understand, I'm not now just living for me, but I'm living for her. So the way I behave behind the back has to honor her. Like, don't want my wife working in certain areas where they're like, yeah, your husband was here yesterday. He was he was
He was
misbehaving.
busy.
He was doing this. He's got bad language. So just know that I'm a representation of her as well, as much as she's a representation of me when I'm not,
Yeah.
when I'm not around. So just behaving responsibly. And then outside of that, we're talking about like house responsibility now. You have to be provider. When something is not going well at home, I have to fix it. I have to find a solution.
You have to figure
I
it
have
out.
to, yes, I shouldn't leave it to her. She can give me ideas, but like it shouldn't be her burden that she carries. I have to carry that burden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. What do you think of this statement that the success of a relationship, a marriage, is directly correlated to the health of the husband? And when I talk about health, I'm not just talking about physical health. I'm talking about emotional health, spiritual health, mental health, financial health.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
It's a very interesting statement. But is that not like a two-way street?
Tell me, what do you mean?
But like, depending on the husband health, I think it depends on the health of both partners.
Yeah.
Because even if the husband is healthy, if the wife is not, it's not gonna
I
work.
hear you.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. We have to come together, both leave our prides at the door, and because I usually say a successful relationship for me, the way I've understood is you meet in the middle and you put your pride aside and you have to be willing to learn from
Okay.
one another. I actually heard this like from a singer. And it's something that I was even sharing with my wife not so long ago. I was telling her there's this singer. He actually lives in France, but in one of his quotes, he said, a successful relationship is a relationship between a teacher and a student.
Yeah.
But both of you have to learn to play that role.
Yeah.
You have to learn to play each role. At some stage, you gotta be the student and learn. At some stage, you gotta be the
Gotta
teacher.
be the teacher.
Yes.
I like that. A very, very tricky question I'm about to ask you,
Okay.
and forgive me. Are you equals with your wife?
We're equal. Now, gotta answer that question.
I told you it's a very
ways
tricky
of-
question.
Do I even think it's tricky? No, but so equal. Are we talking about 50-50? You bring 50% to the table of
You
finances? or-
interpret it the way you want to
way.
interpret it. Yes.
Not really, because the word of the Lord says that the husband is the head. So already it's difficult to be 50-50 or equal. But then it doesn't mean I have to walk around reminding my wife that I'm the head.
Yeah.
I'm the head. I'm the head. No, just behave like it.
Yeah.
Just behave like you. She'll understand. Listen, like I've had the chance to like read on social media, especially when. Sorry, I'm gonna touch a little bit on bit of submission as well because we're talking about equal. I've heard a lot of ladies say, "I don't have an issue with submitting, but who am I submitting to?" Yeah, like I don't have an issue. It's just like, where am I submitting to? Where is this person leading me to? So for me, it's like it's not even something that you have to walk around and ask, submit. I think if you behave in a way where the wife see,
Yeah.
I can submit to you. Because if you behave, again, we go back to responsibility. If you behave in a way that's not so responsible, at some stage, the wife might love you so much to be like, I might have to lead us
I hear you.
so that we don't end up, messing up this marriage of ours, which obviously is not it's not a good thing
Yeah.
because it's not really biblical. As a man, you have to lead, but it's just like heck, like it.
I hear you. So what I'm getting from you is that you guys are not equal. Well, based on the Bible,
Yeah.
because you're supposed to lead, you're the head. But in the same breath, you are not her God. That's what I'm getting from
Yeah,
you.
yeah. And
Very
it's
interesting.
and this topic for me is very important because in the process of leading, there are still certain things that I believe that you can do because your wife has suggested it.
Yes.
You can have a discussion to say, for example, I think we need to buy a TV. I'm the head of the house. I decided we need to buy a TV. And I need a 100-inch TV or something. Because I personally, that TV, I want a big one.
Yes, it
a
has to be
screen.
big, 100%.
And usually I always picture myself playing PlayStation on it. But that's a subject for another day. But as the head of the house, I'm saying this is what I want. But my wife may have a better idea, which is say she has more wisdom at that stage, more wisdom than I have, and said, no, I don't think we need to buy the TV because ABC. And at that stage, I'm not just going to buy because I'm the head of the house.
Yeah.
Because at that stage, she's speaking more wisdom than you.
Yeah.
So okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like what you're talking about because, look, we don't talk a lot about this. The fact that a man can be submissive in a relationship. Because apparently that comes with a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
What do you think of, as the head, being submissive to your wife?
I think it's that aspect of if at a certain stage she comes on in a certain conversation, she comes with more wisdom than you, then we go away. Now we're not talking about submission throughout the marriage,
Yes,
because now you're not fulfilling what the Bible is saying.
100%.
Yeah, because you're not for. But I think to a certain extent she might have more wisdom, even more experience than you.
100%.
So we go with the person that has more experience.
I hear you.
Like it's like you're in a, it's like you're playing in a soccer team. The captain doesn't take all the penalties. He doesn't take all
The free kicks.
sometimes he's not even the best player of the team. He's just the person with maybe the most authority. But it doesn't mean the team always follows what he says.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you.
So yeah.
What do you think? I think I would love to hear from you. What do you think as a man watching this, being submissive to your wife? What are your thoughts on that? Please comment. Like I said, I would love to hear from you. To be a great husband, you need to give her permission to hold you accountable. You need to give her permission to demand greatness from you. What do you make of that?
That is true. Because if we go back to what I said at the beginning, you feel ready for marriage when you learn to be accountable. It's not just with the wife who has to be
Yeah.
accountable to you, but even as a husband, you have to be. So for me, I have no issue with that. I have no issues with my wife reminding me like, yo, this needs to be a little bit more excellent than it is right now. Like we need to raise the level. You gotta be like if it's going to work with a team, and it cannot be a one way
Yeah.
street where she always has to be accountable to me, and I on the other side is nah, I do what I want. I'm the head. No, like you have to be accountable.
Interesting. Dude, what have you appreciated about being married so far?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apart from, I mean, a lot of people would say the sex.
Listen.
Nah, I can't wait, Shem. Yo. I promise you.
Yeah.
If she watches this, just know that I'm waiting for you. Apart from the sex, what have you appreciated about being married?
I've appreciated the fact that I feel like we've both grown.
Okay.
Yeah, like the growth, the way we both living a bit more responsible than we were living before. Like
Yeah.
our decision making have changed. It's like I have you, you have me, we have each other. We're not counting on our families. I'm not thinking like I'm gonna go through this and I'm gonna call dad help you. No, it's her
It's
and I.
you guys.
It's us. So the growth that we've had, that we've seen, is what I've really like appreciated.
Yeah. Would you recommend marriage
I will.
to somebody watching this? Would you recommend that they get married?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know it's not easy because of the world that we live in today.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's not. I think everybody would agree with me that it's not easy to get a good partner.
Yes.
Whether you're a guy, whether you're a lady. Because I know I have some friends who are like, ladies are not to be trusted, or some of the ladies that I've dated in the past have really let me down. So I'm done.
I'm okay.
I'm okay. I'm just gonna date. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But no, I would definitely recommend it. But obviously, you have to really do the work in terms of finding that partner that you can spend the rest of your life with.
Yeah.
Yeah, just have your what I would say do's and don'ts, things that you say, you know what, I want this from a partner, and then just go from there.
Okay.
And then you have to be transparent from the beginning. And say this is what I can handle. I can handle this. I can handle this. This I
Yeah.
cannot handle. And it has to be transparent from the get go, even when you're starting a relationship. And if it doesn't work for either one, you can just go your separate.
Go your separate
But
ways.
at least you are transparent from the, from the get go. But so it's something that I would definitely recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I want to touch on the healthy habits, right? Husband habits. Well, I'm going to start with the ones that we've touched on. So we've touched on being submissive as a husband. You can interpret that however you want, but sometimes allowing the person with the most wisdom at that particular time
Yeah.
to lead. Right. We spoke about transparency. We spoke about being responsible.
Yes.
Right. I want to talk about. I want to talk about consistency. What do you think of that? Being a healthy husband habit.
So consistency, that is something actually that doesn't even just start in marriage. I think that starts already in the relationship.
Yeah.
So obviously when we started our relationship, made promises. I'll buy you the moon. I'll take you to the moon now. And just the consistency of doing the stuff that you promised
Yeah.
and delivering. You may not be able to always deliver everything, but you can show the willingness, even if you failed in certain aspect. If your partner can see that, well, he's trying. This was way out of like he could not control that the outcome of of that. So it's a recipe for success.
Yeah.
You have to be you have to, when you make promises, make sure you stick to them. If you cannot stick to them, at least some sort of communication. And just like be there for your partner.
Yeah. How would you define consistency?
That's a big word. We might need a dictionary.
Yeah.
I need a dictionary. I would say consistency is, in my own understanding, do not change somebody who has a certain stand and they are the same person throughout.
Yeah.
They do not waver. So, for example, if when we started the relationship, I opened the door for her, gotta keep doing that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a small example, but that is an example of consistency. Gotta keep doing that. If every morning I text, hey babe, how are you? Let's continue. It's not like now when you come to marriage, it's just like, hey my friend, how are you? Like, there is no romance anymore. There's no it's gotta stay. So I will say consistency, keeping the good habits
Yeah.
throughout.
So conforming. Okay. The next one,
Yes.
integrity.
Integrity.
Yeah.
Integrity. You would like me to define integrity?
Well, define that, but also just expand on that in terms of what do you think of it being a healthy husband habit?
Integrity. It is also very, very important. If we would like a relationship to work, you need integrity, and it is, I will say, goes hand in hand a little bit with consistency, but in the sense where you are a real person,
Okay.
not a pretender. And then not only that, but speaking about what I touched on at the beginning, where even the way the things you do or behave behind your partner's back
Yeah.
are still reflecting, your relationship.
I
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. The last one is predictability.
Predictability.
Yeah. And also another question on top of that. Apparently, women, and I don't know if you can answer this, but apparently women love and crave predictable partners.
Predictable.
Partners, yes.
Predictable partner.
Yeah, well,
That's interesting. But like, I'm actually trying to think like out loud.
so I mean, think about it this way. When your emotions are predictable, when, for instance, you and your girl fight,
Yes.
if she can predict always that, okay, this is how he's going to be, that sort of like acts as safety to and for her.
Okay. Now I understand now the question better. I think that's something that comes with time.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie to you. With me, my wife definitely can predict a lot of the stuff, a lot of outcomes of the conversations. I think when certain things happen, she knows that he'll be happy about this.
Yeah.
Nope, he's not gonna like this.
Okay.
And it happens the way. And sometimes she'll tell me, "Oh, don't worry, I knew it." She'll just say, "I knew it." So yes, yes, because if now, suddenly out of the blue, here comes a certain aspect that she has never seen. I think it might be scary. Where you speak to her in a way that she's never heard, and it's words that might be hurtful, or it's not safe. And I know when you say women love predictability, it's because sometimes when you do things that are unpredictable, they might be like, where are you learning this?
Yeah.
Where are you learning
Where's this coming from?
Yeah, where's this coming from? Yeah.
I hear you. It's very interesting, man. It's I'm learning a lot. I won't lie, and I think a lot of the people that are going to be watching this, and not just the guys, are going to take from this conversation and maybe apply these nuggets should they decide to get married and all of that. What do you guys do for fun? Are you guys still having fun? Because the notion is that when people get married, the fun gets out of the window. Yeah.
It's more fun now.
Really?
Yes. It's more fun now.
What do you mean, bro?
When we were just dating, obviously we used to go out to the cinema. We used to go out on date for dinner. And it's something that we're still keeping to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still do those things. Now, the good thing, we're actually joking about it. Her and I, sometimes last week, we're saying no curfew.
Okay.
So we can go out and come back
whenever you guys want.
Whenever we want.
And it's the both of you guys.
Yes.
You guys are doing it.
Yes, together.
Together.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's together. Listen, man, I grew up in a house where no matter your age, if you still staying with mom, he doesn't matter your age. If you're not home
at a certain time,
that phone is gonna ring.
Yeah.
And you
I hear you.
Yeah, so it's more fun now because it's like, okay, we can
do whatever we want to do
and come back when we want. There's no pressure. I'm not expecting a phone call. She's not expecting a phone call from her side. So for me, it's more fun now.
You're not accounting to and for anyone but yourself.
Yeah, the two of us. Even if we wake up in the morning and we decide that we're gonna spend the night in Cape Town, it's fine. Or in Durban, yes. So for me, it's actually more fun now. Yeah.
And I think it wouldn't be good rather not to ask this question. How has God factored in your relationship transitioning into marriage?
It's God first.
Okay.
Yeah, it's God first. Because as much as we met at church in the music band, in the worship ministry, we still had to have conversation to gauge what is your understanding of God? Like, where's your relationship at?
Yeah, I see you.
With God. Where's your relationship at with God? Because if we do not have, because just because we're in the same church or in the same worship ministry doesn't always mean we have the same way of seeing things, the same vision. So it was all those things. Like, how do you see this? Like, so for example, I remember there was a conversation that we had at the beginning. I don't even know if my wife would remember. But we asked each other, like, hey, what do you think about ancestral worship? I think I might have been the one who asked the question. And she told me, oh, no.
That's not a thing.
It's not a thing. Christian, it's Jesus. It's Jesus or nothing.
And you don't dabble.
We don't. And she asked me, and what do you think? I told her, oh no, I'm of the same opinion. Because today, you can have people that are Christians but still believe.
Yeah.
Still believe. And so those are some of the things we had to gauge, because if one believes in ancestral worship, the other one doesn't, might be an issue down the line, So,
Very interesting.
so yeah, so it was just God first,
Yeah.
and then we met serving God. We're not allowing the relationship or the marriage to take either of us away from
Yeah.
God's presence.
I hear that. Dude, I know your lady.
Yeah.
She said yeah, cameras and mics are a bit too much for her.
Yes.
But I'd really love to have both of you guys on the podcast.
On the podcast. I'll try to make it happen.
Please,
Because
bro.
wifey definitely doesn't like the camera.
I hear that, but I think it would be interesting
Yeah.
to engage both of you guys and just converse with the both of you.
You know what? I don't want to make promises. I'll try.
Yeah, please, man, please
I'll
try.
try.
Do you guys have a set goal for your marriage?
Well,
And do you think that having a goal as a couple is important?
yes, it is. So the goal for us is obviously to continue serving God, but then again, as a married couple, to just bring a difference, to by all means necessary to try and carry God wherever we go.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you an example. The day we got married, the photographer, not really, I would say, not really a Christian, but heard the sermon that was preached on our wedding day, and felt like he needed to reevaluate certain stuff in his marriage.
Oh wow.
So that is something that we wanna be able to do, and we wanna serve God together, and amen, just make the difference the best way we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might be me behind the keys, her on the microphone. I don't know, but somehow we just wanna, and we want to, by God's grace, to be able to raise God-fearing kids.
Yeah.
Because that's not easy as well. The world that we live in is very toxic.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, our goal just serve God together, and we want to be able to. We all created with a purpose. We want to be able to help each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, listen. Please convince her to come.
Okay.
I love this conversation, but I feel like we would do justice to it if the both of you guys were here.
We're here.
Because some of the questions that I have are for both of you guys. And some of the things that I'm curious about are for both you guys. So please make it happen.
Okay.
I feel like I should have done the intro in French. Eh?
And try say something.
I should have said bonsoir, madame et monsieur. Je m'appelle Tabang Makuvela. That's probably the only thing that I know. But I'll ask him to teach me, just by the way. But yes, very interesting conversation, I think. I want the both of you guys to come back.
Okay.
And I want it to happen as soon as possible.
As possible.
Please. While this is still fresh.
Yeah.
This episode, that is. I want to cap it here.
Yeah.
But I think before we end it, is there anything you want to say to the people watching?
So
To your wife?
so before I end it, listen, I know we're living in tough times, and it almost seems impossible. It almost seems like a bad setup getting married. But listen, if you've got God on your side, it is possible. That is what I'm going to say. Whatever you feel like is impossible, with God, it's possible. And as a Christian, if you are able to hear God, you are able to follow His command, you are going to get that right partner. You are going to get what God has designed for you. And whatever God has designed for you cannot be a failure. So even if you've experienced bad partners throughout, if you can only lean on God, if you can just trust Him, you'll get the right one. That's all I can
Hey
say.
man,
Yeah.
what more can I say after that? Babal, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
For gracing me with your presence.
Thank you.
I think you're one of the coolest dudes I know.
Thank you.
For real, like probably like one of the few people that call me Mr. T.
Mr.
You
T.
know, every time I hear Mr. T, I know he has to be one of those people. But really, really cool guy. Like, oh my gosh. So thank you, bro.
Thank you.
And look, this is home now.
Yeah,
If you want to come back
for sure.
to the podcast, please just hit me up and say, hey, Mr. T,
I'm ready.
how's your week looking like next week, whatever the case may be. I want to come back. Because I like dialogue. You know what I mean? I always say that we are the same before we are different. Before you are Babel and before I'm Tabang, we are both humans.
Yeah.
And that's our first connection. And I really believe that stories, conversations
Yeah.
connect us in a way that nothing else, could. So whenever you want to come back,
Oh, for sure.
even if you're alone, but I would love for you to come back with your lady.
I'll try.
I feel like you didn't say anything to her, dude. Like, say something to her, man.
To her.
Yes.
Gotta say something to
Yes.
to Mrs. Ilunga. What would you like me to say about her? Well, baby, I know you're gonna be watching this. I love you so much, and thank you for allowing me to be part of your life. Thank you for allowing me to walk in this journey of life with you. And I love you so much. Love you big time. So yeah, we out.